This comes to us from Pirate Nation. He says, retro gaming YouTuber faces jail time for reviewing handhelds. And this is a screenshot of Android Authority. It says, forget copyright strikes. A retro gaming YouTuber faces possible jail time for reviewing gaming handhelds. Ambernick Gaming Handheld Reviews may land this YouTuber in jail. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ambernick. I have 2 of them. I'm grateful I have not reviewed them on my channel. But they are amazing. I shouldn't even say anything about them because what? Holy crap. And we'll get into this. We got, let me see, over on r/gaming. Retro gaming YouTuber faces jail time for reviewing gaming handhelds. And this comes to us from Android Authority, which we'll get to in a second. But the TLDR, Italian YouTuber has police raid his home because they suspected he may have a handheld device that uses micro SD cards, which often ship with pirated games saved to it. What? Shouldn't they be raiding the Chinese factory? Like, why are they raiding some dude's house that bought it from? Shouldn't they be raiding Amazon's facility? Shouldn't they be suing Amazon? Why are they going to the person that bought it? What the hell? YouTuber is confident he did nothing wrong, but won't know the charges or outcome until the investigation is complete. Holy crap. WTF, Italian police have enough time to raid homes for pirated games? This is wild. Someone has to defend the poor, oppressed mega corporations. This is, guys, I'm telling you, this is why I'm very concerned for the future of society with this kind of stuff. Forget copyright strikes. A retro gaming YouTuber faces possible jail time for reviewing gaming handhelds. Ambernick Gaming Handheld Reviews may land this YouTuber in jail. Retro gaming YouTuber once were nerd has been sued and raided by the Italian government. Yikes. Consoles were seized and channels may be closed for promoting piracy of copyrighted material. Guys, I feel like, I know we have no proof that Nintendo is behind this, but I can't help but think that Nintendo has something to do with this. Some of these devices ship with preloaded ROMs, which appears to be the source of the complaint. Which, okay, if that's what the complaint is, again, why are you suing the dude that bought it? Why are you raiding his home for it? Why are you not going after the mega corporation that sold it to him, like Amazon or the company in China that shipped it directly? Why aren't you going at them? While gaming content continues to grow and thrive on video platforms like Twitch and YouTube, copyright remains a sticky issue. Most companies look the other way when it comes to game streaming, but emulation is another matter. Who's this here? Which one's this? Nintendo? I think I'm familiar with that one. And others have used copyright strikes to discourage creators from emulating their games. But now a legal threat has taken things to a whole new level. Italian YouTuber Once Were Nerd covers a variety of retro gaming topics, but his reviews of the Ambernick devices appear to be the straw that broke the camel's back. According to the YouTuber, customs enforcement officers from the Guardia di Finanza showed up at his home and office on April 15th with a search warrant to investigate promotion of pirated copyright materials. Don't worry about the Epstein stuff, guys. We got ROMs from 40 years ago to take down. They seized a variety of Ambernick, Powkitty, Trim UI gaming handhelds from his collection. In total, more than 30 consoles were taken. The creator, assuming he didn't do anything wrong, complied with demands, providing full transcripts of his conversations and chats with gaming handheld manufacturers. The officers also took his phone, promising to return it in a few days. It was returned 2 months later. Holy crap, this is insane. I've gone through a lot of stories in my 8+ years of doing YouTube. This one's up there, guys, with some of the craziest stories I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. This is insane. According to the video, officials are not required to disclose what exactly the charges are or who has brought them until the initial investigation is complete under Italian law. At that point, the case is either dismissed or goes to trial. The complaint specifically mentions reproduction of copyrighted material from Nintendo and Sony. I find it fascinating. Every time it comes to the ROM stuff, Microsoft doesn't seem to even be mentioned. It's always, or any of the others, Sega or any of the other companies. It's always Nintendo and Sony. Almost like they're working together behind the scenes to take all of this down and make an example of people to scare anyone else from ever talking about any of it ever. Think about this article and me talking about it right now. People are going to hear this. And like I said, I have 2 Ambernicks. I am never going to show an Ambernick on YouTube now. Like, no, I'm not touching that. And that's exactly what they want. They want to scare people into submission so that you don't ever do anything that might promote things that could potentially affect their bottom lines, because they want to resell you the shit that was worthless from 40 years ago. But once they found out it is worth something because people care about it now they want to make money on it too. They want to get in on the grift. But the case may originate from the agency itself. Well, I can promise you guys, when we do find out if it does go to trial and they do point out the information, even if it did originate from Nintendo and Sony, I can promise you they're going to filter it through a third party to make it seem like it comes from the agency itself. It's never going to say it came from Nintendo and Sony. They're going to make sure of that. However, in the meantime, officials have the option to shut down his channel even before proving any wrongdoing. Yikes! This is a scary prospect for any creator who has spent years building a channel. And unlike YouTube copyright strikes, there's likely no remedy. Holy crap. That's insane. Like, I think about this from my own perspective of doing YouTube for 8+ years at this point, and how much work, blood, sweat, tears, hours, my life dedicated to this. To one day wake up and have SWAT teams crashing through the windows and busting down my front door to take my Ambernicks away from me and then shut down my YouTube channel, I'd be like, whoa, hold on a second. Why are you doing this to me? This is crazy. The punishment does not fit the crime because there is no crime. This is insane. Hypnotic says, I'm literally watching someone review, sell, promote the Ambernick handheld on TikTok right now. Laughing my ass off. Nightmare says Soldier Boy was ahead of the curve. He absolutely was. This is nuts. Now, I assume this is going to be fully in Italian, but just for posterior.
Hey guys, I know this isn't my usual cheerful introduction.
Oh, no. Okay. He has it translated, dubbed over him. Here we go.
But today I'm here to tell you a story that I think you're not going to like at all this time. Yes, because as you've seen from the title, apparently I've been reported. It's not yet clear whether it's a complaint or not, but I'll explain why better later. The fact is that 3 months ago I received this notification from the Guardia di Finanza informing me that criminal proceedings had been initiated against me. And you might be thinking, what did you do to deserve a criminal trial? I reviewed the Amburic consoles. Amburic, Powkitty and Trimui, mainly the ones that can be purchased with a card, with the games inside. Video reviews that, as you well know, I do, other Italian colleagues of mine do, but they also do abroad on channels with millions of subscribers, without anyone telling them anything, because that's what we do. We review, we don't sponsor. We're not like those ads that tell you, ah, there are 100,000 games in there, look there's this, this and that. We've
He seems legit, like above board, trying to be honest with stuff. He doesn't like strike me as like a sketchy back alley YouTuber trying to get like he looks very professional. Looks like he knows what he's doing, and he's saying he doesn't do that stuff. So
evaluate the hardware, but that's another story. There is the possibility of defense, etc. Unfortunately, we are still only in the first phase. I had to bring you this video today, 3 months after this happened, even though I continued to publish my content, because today I received the notification that the procedure to block all my social channels has been started.
yikes.
This video could disappear just like the Instagram channel, Facebook and everything else could disappear. And if you're wondering, can they do this before you've even expressed a judgment, i.e. are you guilty or not? Apparently, according to Italian law, yes.
I'm telling you guys, this video is not going to be up tomorrow. This is going to be all taken down. This is crazy.
Already checking with my lawyer to see if there's a way to save what can be saved. However, let's just say that instead of disappearing into thin air, I wanted to make this video for all of you who have followed me over the past few years. I'll also tell you about a part of my personal experience. I didn't wear this t-shirt randomly because up until now I've only used it when I've talked to you a bit more about my life. I hope you'll have a few minutes of your time to take a look at this video. I just want to say one thing. Since I don't know if this channel will disappear, at least for one last sure thing, let me play the intro, please. Then we'll talk about everything else. Intro.
This is like so sad, so bittersweet. Seems like such a genuine, passionate YouTuber that really cares about this stuff. This, like, of all the people to target, yikes. I feel so bad for him.
The story I want to tell you is quite unlikely, in the sense that the only people I've shared it with so far have all had the exact same reaction. I won't be able to see what effect it will have on you, but let me know what you think. Let's go back a bit to April 15th. That morning I had left home. I was already about an hour away from where I live by car. My mother called me and said, "Look, come home right away because the Guardia di Finanza is here. I have a VAT number, it'll be an inspection, it'll be whatever you want." I told her, "Look, Mom, tell them if they'll call me back, because I'm at least an hour away from home anyway. Let's agree on what we need to do." Quote, "Well, look, they're pressing, you have to come back." Okay, I'll end the call, I'll backtrack. A
Wow.
few seconds later I get a call from a number I don't recognize. I answer and it was a marshal from the Guardia di Finanza. "Yes, look, Mr. Francesco, we're the Guardia di Finanza, we're in front of your house." And I told him, "Yes, I know, my mother just called me." Actually, it wasn't like that.
This is insane. I don't even know what more context I can add to this. Just hearing him say this. This doesn't even feel real. This is crazy. What a crazy story.
Because there were 3 financial police officers in front of my door, where I live, where this office is, and 3 more at my mother's house. Partly it was my mistake because my VAT number still had my old address listed, which I hadn't done since I had moved house in a hurry. The fact is that there were 6 customs officers waiting for me. When I arrived, they showed me this notice with a search warrant attached. Honestly, I felt like a criminal. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I said,
Imagine
"Okay, let's go to my
Imagine
house
just
where..."
living your life, doing what you do every day, and then having the freaking feds bust your door down with a search warrant for the stuff that you do every day, thinking nothing of it, how innocuous it is. Be like, wait, that's illegal? How? What's illegal about it? What the hell? And why are you choosing me? There's a lot of people that do this. What the hell? What?
my studio is. I'm sure you'll want to see the things in there. Obviously, I was cooperative. I gave them everything they wanted to see because in my eyes what a bad thing I did, and they basically cataloged all the Amburic, Pakiti, and Trim UI consoles and confiscated them. In fact, more than 30 consoles disappeared in here. All this because I am accused of having violated Article 171 ter of the Constitution.
I mean, if this is how the Italian Constitution works, you lose your rights before you're even guilty. That's insane. How are the people of the country okay with that? That's insane.
Paragraph 1 let. And blah blah blah, which is basically the copyright law, the paragraph that says as if I had them all. The fat guy wanted to say hello. Can I? The one that should basically accuse me of having promoted copyrighted material via social media. I say probably because, excuse me if I don't use the correct terminology if there are any lawyers, but this is quite a new thing for me. A criminal trial has several phases. The one we are in now is still the investigation phase. At a certain point, they will have to inform me, hopefully soon, in theory within 6 months, but it can also be postponed, the outcome of these investigations.
Again, I keep going back to, why is he the one that's targeted instead of the company that sold it to him? Why is he the one that's the problem? If the problem is he's advertising a product that has SD cards with games preloaded on it, he's also a customer, and he's buying it from a company that is selling it to him. That should be on Italy to prevent that from coming into their country if it's as illegal as they're trying to make it. So they're treating it like it's like some sort of narcotic, the way he got caught with it. This is insane.
In this video you said this is not right, in this other one you did this and that, you showed this and that. From there you have 20 days to submit a brief, that is to say to them, look, it's not like that blah blah blah, and to ask for the case to be dismissed. If this dismissal does not happen, you rightly go to trial with a lawyer and with all the costs that
The
entail.
product, Sarah, I know the product isn't even illegal. It's the pirating that's the crime. There are legal uses for the console that he has. I understand that completely. What I am saying here is, and I think you'd agree with this too, is they're trying to make an example of this guy. And it's so over the top. It's insane. Like I don't even have words for the situation. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Even though I am currently only under investigation, it makes me feel bad just saying it. They have the power to request the preventive suspension of my social channels, as if I were only posting on this channel with Solon Burnick.
I'm surprised that YouTube hasn't proactively taken his channel down as a preemptive precautionary measure, because YouTube seems to be pretty proactive with that kind of stuff. And this guy's saying, yeah, he's like, I do everything on this channel. It's not just Ambernick, but they want to take my entire channel down for one thing. And he's like, I didn't even know that was illegal. That years of work gone for one thing that you didn't even know was wrong. That's crazy.
Technology, stories, guides, retroids, this stuff doesn't exist for them. It's all a bunch. Obviously, we guys will put up some defense against this measure. Now we have to see, but the process has started, so the channel could disappear at any moment, and it's called a criminal trial because there's not just a fine at stake, there's detention.
Wow. Wait, detention, like go to jail for talking about ROMs on a game console on your YouTube channel, put you behind bars physically. I think Italy has lost the plot. What?
I risk from 6 months to 3 years in prison, with a fine that, given that the article was from 1941, still in lire, but after doing the various calculations, more or less a maximum of 15,000 euros, for having reviewed Ambernick consoles, consoles that you can buy without games, that you can find on Amazon and that the whole world reviews.
It feels like he's being targeted to be made an example of. And again, I go back to that. If you can find this on Amazon, how is Amazon not being arrested or fined? Like, why is the individual? That's crazy.
4 tax police officers left from Piedmont to notify me of this. I'm in the Marche region, They left the day before and came down where they joined 2 other police officers, and 6 of them came all the way down here into this room to requisition my Ambernic consoles.
Wow.
This is the point at which the few people I told responded with a cliché. But with everything that's happening in Italy, if the police officers had time to come to your house. Now the law should be the same for everyone, so if I made a mistake, it's right that I should pay. But you can also understand that anyone who tells this story is still shocked because it says the punishment is disproportionate compared to the reaction.
That's what I was
They
saying.
practically treated me like a criminal,
Yeah.
even from my parents' house to mine, which is 3 minutes away. I told them, okay, follow me in the car.
Meanwhile, you like go to the street, someone gets the shit beat out of him, and they just let him walk away and nothing happens. But this is a problem. This guy here.
But one of them wanted to get in with me, as if to say, this guy could even escape. I know that you're doing your job and that you're used to everything, but you also understand who you're dealing with. I opened the doors of my home to you, I showed you everything. I was super cooperative, because in my opinion, I didn't do anything wrong, and there was one episode that actually really bothered me. Because, in addition to all the consoles taken, all the various checks done on the PCs, etc., they also asked me for the data of the conversations that I, for example, had with the retailers who sent them to me for free, and I gave them that.
Which, by the way,
I gave them the
I've had communications with retailers that have sent me stuff. Like Retrobit has sent me stuff. I mean, there's been a lot of, I can't think off the top of my head, but 8-Bit Dough, game companies have sent me collector's edition stuff. Like I've gotten a lot of stuff sent to me. We have email communications all the time. I don't think anything of it, but it's crazy to me to think that like I would be in trouble for daring to have a communication with them when they're the ones reaching out to me to send it to me. Like, what the hell?
complete backup of my emails, all the backups of Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, everything they asked me for. And they still wanted to take my phone away to make a forensic copy, and I told them, guys, now, beyond this, I work with my phone. If you take away a resource like that from me, I don't know for how long, I'm not saying that you'll put me out of business, but it's close to it. There was no way, but they assured me that they would work on it the next day and that I would be able to get it back the following week. I said, okay, please, but this is a very important thing. You understand that it's for my main job, not for the channel, so let's try to meet each other halfway. Quote. The moral of the story is that the phone I got on April 15th was returned to me on June 18th. So much so that I had to buy another one, because I kept going as long as I could with my old
Wow.
Pixel 2 XL from millions of years ago. How peaceful. It was one of the best phones I've ever bought, but I work with my phone, so I also had to spend money to get a new one, since it was not known when they would give me back my main one. And so here we are. This was the whole story in April. I found 6 customs officers in my house with a search warrant for reviewing consoles. When you all know very well what kind of advertising there is around those consoles, if I'm associated with them, I'll really become a beast, because if there's one thing I've never done in my life, it's been paid to write reviews. I know that many of you might not.
This guy strikes me. I mean, I know it's all translated, but just his mannerisms and the way that this is communicated, he strikes me as a really just good dude. That's just like, what the hell, man?
Believe it, but I've never activated referral links or anything like that, even though I had a coupon and so on. I've never received €0.50 for a review, because when I review a console, I want to be able to say whatever I want. I've never sent a preview video for approval. Up until now, I've tried to be as honest as possible, and this is what happens to me. So, guys, this video should be a warning in part also to all those in Italy, because this stuff only happens in Italy, who do my job.
It's so unfair.
If you also review with Solon Bernick, Hukity, Trimeo, or anyone similar, pay attention, because it seems like they've tightened their grip on this. And
that's what I was talking about. They're trying to get to Ambernick and all these other companies that are coming out of China, and they can't sue China. They can't go after China. So now they're just trying to scare the shit out of people that do get these things from China to try to stop it from being perpetuated further. It's crazy. It's crazy. Again, I could keep going on this. I think we understand the Yeah, he's got a personal rant that he goes on here. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I will share this in the link as well. But damn, what a crazy story with this guy. I feel so bad for him, obviously, but the fact that he is being threatened with potential jail time for reviewing an Ambernick, I, I have no words. Like I said, this is going to go down in history of one of the craziest stories I've ever covered on this channel. This is insane, absolutely nuts. And I feel like this is the kind of thing that needs to get the word out there so that people see what governments are doing, because that's the best way to get it to stop is to get eyeballs on it. With that all being said, I'll leave that one there.